welcome back, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that little short video. Sorry for it being the wrong way, but it is what it is. It's actually nothing wrong with it, but since it hasn't been remote started in a few months and the battery was disconnected, in order to reset it on these cars, when you try to remote start it, you have to start it inside, and then it'll sync the key, or the fob rather, with the car, and everything will be fine from there. So that's where we're at. Just got back from the tag office. The plates were out because it hasn't been a priority, and honestly we forgot about it, and the penalty was actually higher than the regular registration fee would have been. So that's our fee for forgetting, I guess. Be that as it may, a few things. So the car runs, it sort of drives. We changed a lot, and luckily I decided to kind of hold off on the Pro Charger a little bit because we've got a lot of little things to address, like the torque converter, which we have to tune for. Much bigger injectors, much bigger engine, getting the airflow and stuff right. Drivability and everything should be basically stock. It idles really nice. Unfortunately, the first time I started it up, I didn't realize that the cam and crank had been off by a tooth. I don't know when that happened. I don't know if it happened at the machine shop or if it happened when I was assembling it. And you know, because if you rotate it the wrong direction, the tensioner will back off and it will give it an opportunity to jump a tooth. I don't know. Be that as it may, it was pretty minor. It was a simple fix, honestly. I mean, the hardest part was getting to it. And myself, my littlest one, we did that in about 4 hours yesterday, and that was leisurely, right? So as soon as I got that corrected, started it back up, idled like a champ, ran fine. As far as we can tell, no mechanical damage. Like I said, it was only one tooth. Plus, the pistons have valve release cut them anyway, so we got a little bit of leeway. And that's pretty much where we're at. I'm waiting for a return tune from Andrew, Wizard of Tuning, to start that process. It's not liking drive right now. It will go in reverse. It'll drive a little bit, but as soon as you start to give it throttle, it dies. So obviously our air fuel and our timing's a little off because it's completely skewed from what it was before. The tune was adjusted for the 426 to allow it to start and idle, which it does. But as far as the driving part, especially with another different converter that's in there, we got a little bit of work to do. So once all that's taken care of and we go back through it and turn a bunch of things off and whatever needs to be done, we should be rocking and rolling sometime this week, especially with the plates legal. So outside of that, it will be Pro Charged. Like I said, it's just that we're in a particular situation at home where we got two teenagers, both working. One plays sports, and the littlest one, and we got 2 sets of activities turning into 3 sets of activities, plus my wife working and myself working part-time. We have company cars for now. We're short a car, and so getting to 2 cars for the family's sake was much more important than whistly sounds. I know, sacrilegious, I know, but unfortunately we got to adult sometimes. That being said, it gives me a little bit more time to get the kit together and go through it. The blower does show signs of leakage around the seal on the pulley side, so obviously I want to get that changed out and just make sure it's in good condition. I can send it back to Pro Charger to get it serviced. Last time I did something like that, it was like $500 or $600, so we'll see. The goal now is to get my oldest's car, a car that's tentatively before him to drive, taken care of. In the meantime, we'll comb through this and make it pretty much perfect, because before the Pro Charger goes on, we still have to upgrade the fuel pump. We have to get the fuel pump amplifier, and you know, neither one of those are cheap. The pump's not so bad, but the amplifier is definitely not cheap. I would like to get an SRT differential. Sorry about that. I had to delete some stuff off my phone to make some space for videos, but like I was saying, I want to get the SRT diff and axles. Those are rated well over 1,000 horse. And the Durango, the all-wheel drive version, is a direct bolt-in for the rear-wheel drive version. I did find that out. I don't have to worry about matching diffs or anything like that because I only need the rear. And the axles drop in too. Similarly to the Challengers and Chargers, you can just get the SRT stuff. So we're going to do that. And I want to get the one from a pre-18 because I believe those are still manual LSDs versus the electronic ones in the newer cars. And that's pretty much it. The transmission is a concern. And speaking of transmissions, the one thing I did not think to do was to buy a new seal for the pump where the converter slides into the front of the transmission. just totally slipped my mind, whatever. I haven't built a whole lot of automatic cars. I always had stick cars, and so that was never been a concern. It's just, is the clutch good? Okay, cool, and off you go. Definitely the case in an automatic car, since the Seal has 239,000 and some change on it. As soon as I put the new converter in, it started to just nice slow drip. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. I already talked to Thomas about it, and he's got a lift at his shop at his house. And so I was like, hey man, I totally just spaced on this one. So I'm going to order the Seal. I'll get with him and we'll have it changed out in a couple hours on a weekend or so. But in the meantime, it's still drivable. It's just that drip is something to keep in mind. So whatever. Like I said, hopefully start road tuning this week. It does not, it sort of drives, but when you give it too much throttle, it dies, because obviously the timing and fuel is way off. But it does idle, and that's really all I wanted for now, is so I can start it, let it idle, get it to operating temp, make sure there's no weird noises, make sure that it gets up to oil pressure, which it does. We're about 38 to 41 pounds at idle at operating temp, which is really good, and 85 or so at startup. So we're plenty good on oil pressure, plenty good on volume, especially considering since we have these extra clearance bearings in the rods and the mains, which was done on purpose. So and they're friction coated king bearings, so if we do have a low oil situation, the bearings are designed to kind of accommodate to some degree. And for that's pretty much it, man. I'm excited and nervous because this is the I'm excited and nervous because this is the part that's the most nerve-wracking, because now you're questioning yourself every time you have an issue of, did I do this, did I do that, did I remember to torque this, what was that noise? So the first couple of weeks, months into driving this thing are going to be a little bit unnerving. However, we're going ready to get into the summertime. That's when we travel the most as a family. So like I said, this is and always has been the family hauler. The range is her toy, more or less. She worked hard for it. She always wanted one, so we got her what she wanted for once. And as far as this is concerned, well, we're going to do all the cool stuff to it because, well, it's the family hauler. So it's going to get tons more miles, tons more fun, and it's going to haul all the crap, all the nasty stuff. The dog doesn't even ride in the Range Rover, to give you an idea of how much she loves this thing, which is fine. That's what the Durango's for everything else. And for those of you who are like me, are fathers and just parents, uncles even, who are doing family-like stuff all the time, and there's some lady enthusiasts out there who are just kind of looking to spice up the family car, hey man, you found the right place. So still getting it Pro Charged. We got to finish collecting parts for the kit, and that's not cheap. I do have the head unit. I'll probably get it serviced. I'll see about possibly getting it upgraded, because it's an X now, and I think the only thing above that is maybe the P1R. I'm not sure if they even still make that, and that's pretty much it. It might be too little blower, but we're not really trying to pull the house down with power. We're only trying to compensate for where the cam doesn't make power, because this is the same cam that was in the 5.7. In the 5.7 it was a great cam. In a 426 with almost 100 more cubic inches, well, that cam won't breathe swirl at the top, which is why that's where the Pro Charger comes in. So for those of you who are new to this building cars thing, you don't necessarily want, nor do you have to buy the best of everything. That's not how that works. You have to have a good collection of parts that work well together. So even though my cam will make tons of torque, which is fine, because this is a 7-passenger, 5,000-pound vehicle, give or take. But on the top end, it'll run out a little bit of steam, which is also fine because it's a 7-passenger vehicle. So if we combine that with a Pro Charger, even a smaller one, that'll help compensate for where the cam starts to run out of steam, volumetric efficiency wise, and make up for that all the way to redline. So this cam will make power to about 7,000-ish, but it won't make as much power in a naturally aspirated form for a 426 because of the amount of air that this thing's gonna need to breathe. So we offset that with the blower, which I'm going to pulley to basically be at max RPM safely for it, taking in consideration the 6% oversized balance that we have on this thing, to put it at 7,000. And that's according to Pro Charger, because I emailed them and talked to their tech about it, and they said, okay, with the 6% overbalancer you got, and I gave them the actual dimensions with the P1X, it should be max boost, max efficiency for that blower safely at 7,000 engine RPM, which is perfect. Cam tops out about 7,000 RPM. We don't want to push these rods past 7,000 RPM because they're rated at like 750, 800 horse, which is fine. As long as you don't overspin the engine, the rods are more or less irrelevant. And we're not trying to make crazy power. I suspect with the blower and everything, will probably be 825 to the tire. That's a lot of power. I don't care who you are, that is a lot of power for a daily driven 7-passenger family hauler that handles about the same as a Challenger Charger, if I'm honest. A little top heavy, but not by much, if we're you know, letting bygones be bygones. Outside of that, we're gonna get some drop springs, we'll get a different set of aftermarket wheels, we'll possibly do something about this hood, because it's a bit bland, but that might keep it from getting stolen too, by making it look bland. Set of wheels, SRT brakes, nice stance, and then front lip and a rear spoiler. They make these little aftermarket spoilers that make it just a little bit more aggressive, similar to the Range Rover actually, where it just kind of comes off the back edge like a duckbill. And leave it at that, just run it. Oh, and update the very outdated Uconnect system in there with a Tesla screen is what they call them. It's just somebody makes a kit that adapts the old style infotainment system to like a newer style flat screen setup for about $500, which isn't too bad. And leave it be outside of that, man. I mean, it'll make good power. The drive line will be upgraded. We will go through the transmission at some point in time. Upgrade the brakes, give it some real small styling cues, and drive it. Just drive it. You know, I'm a firm believer in the phrase, collect memories, not dust. And we are a driving family. We put a lot of miles on cars. We just bought her Range last year around September, and at 57,000, it's 79,000 right now, to give you an idea of how much we drive. So this 426 is going to see every bit of that mileage and then some, while taking care of other projects, the Subaru, the GTO, and just make this channel about getting out and doing things. So thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out my update, and enjoy the noise.